welcome back to our show. I'm joined here by the lovely Jay Atkinson. As you can see, I've actually put her email address just below because you never know, you might want to work with her. Who knows? Do you like my style there, Jay? Putting plugs in right at the start. So before we get going, for those of you that are watching, I can see we've got some people watching already. Opening up the chat room. Let me just put in a little question just so that people know to send us their questions. There we go. Okay. Cool. So Jay, a whole 2 weeks has just passed. And I've noticed some themes coming up with my clients and in my own life and what's going on in the news. What themes have been coming up for you over this last couple of week periods? What's been going on? What's coming into consciousness right now?
Right. Where do we even begin? It's been a very interesting fortnight, and I can't believe it's been a fortnight since we last did this.
I know.
When we're getting ready tonight, my husband said, Kim said, "Oh my God, you're doing it tonight? I thought that was last week." And I'm like, "No, it's gone 2 weeks now." It's so fun. Anyway, but yeah, issues that have been coming up, not particularly issues, but it's been, again, that full circle thing, going round on the loop and dealing with stuff that was in the past. Yeah. And I realized that, a lot of things that have been coming up from the past in this lifetime were brought with us from previous lifetimes and experiences and dimensions in order to deal with fully in this lifetime and literally say no more once and for all. It's a bit like, imagine you've got this the Dementors chasing you forever through space and time. And then suddenly in this lifetime, we see them and we go, "Oh, that's who you are. Oh, I don't need you anymore. Off you go." And we've got a whole clean sheet, and we're having a clean sweep of everything that no longer serves us. And literally, and then blow me, we watched the new movie by Ryan Reynolds, absolutely off the scale brilliant it was, to us anyway. And it was literally confirming everything that I've been going through, been talking about. And it's like, it was, you get the perfect sort of moment when you feel like you wobble and you go through all this stuff and you do it with all your faith and trust. And then you go, I just need an answer. And then you get something that confirms it like that. And you go, God, I was right. So there's been a lot of letting go of old energy, some of it which was reactivated in this lifetime by certain issues. And we've carried them for a long, long time. And it's now time to truly let go and move into the more organic self, or the heaven on earth, heaven meets earth. That's where. How about you?
Well, actually, before I get going, I wanted to just welcome some of the people. Obviously, we've got some people watching. The numbers, it's really weird. People are kind of coming in, dropping off, coming back up. It's really weird. I just this like so much like jumpiness at the moment. So I want to welcome Moaz, who is joining us once again. He's a regular. He's been joining us every week or every 2 weeks. Bonoit, Louisa Ige. So good afternoon, good evening. That's very, very cool. We've got Catherine, or Kate, as I know her. Again, another Portuguese introduction saying good afternoon, Louisa and Jay. We've also got the lovely Jackie Grant, who's joining us. Thank you, Louisa and Jay. So we've got some people joining us. It's really, really lovely. So what I'm going to do, definitely there are some themes coming up. And what I would say is, for anyone that's watching right now, if you've got a question that you'd like to put to Jay or I for us to tune into, then please do. If you feel brave enough, just pop it in the chat box. Exactly. So you need to be watching this from YouTube. Pop it in the chat so that I can see it, and we'll get cracking on it. We'll answer it to the best of our abilities. I've got a couple of questions that people have given me via email as well, which we can also use. But I think if it doesn't feel like we're getting that many questions, it might be that you and I just kind of chat around what's been happening, and also chat as to what we think is needed for everyone, really, because I think there are some big kind of messages going around and around and around.
Definitely. I know it's been a doozy of a week in one way and another. And then we've had apparently huge CMEs and M-class solar flares and blah 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 directed at Earth, and it always really affects me. And I'm sure I know it does you. And it's like you think you're going crazy. You wake up having gone to bed the night before, feeling absolutely fine, and then you wake up this morning and you're Mrs. Crazy Woman, and you think, where the hell did that come from? And then you realize it's not you. And so many things this week have happened, and spoken to some amazing people, and tuned in with them. And also the theme is that we've got to get rid of the old victim and bring on our sovereignty big time, and say, you know what, this is all about me. It's not but it is. And really take the reins and go, you know what, I'm in charge of my life. This is amazing. And that's very, very empowering. It's been like that for a couple of weeks now. So, throw that in the mix.
No, that's a really good one. So maybe we should start actually by kind of opening with the idea of grace, or like a kind of heart opener. So anyone that is watching this either like live right now or who tunes in a little bit later, you know, that we can kind of connect all together in some kind of beautiful intention. Jay, would you like to lead us on that, please?
Yeah, we can do that now. So let's just start by taking a couple of breaths in. And I'm informed that if we breathe through the nose and out through the mouth, that's the absolute best thing for us, because there's all sorts of wonderful reasons why, and I don't know them at the moment. But so we take a couple of, I just do as I'm told. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And then just focus on drawing up that breath through the nose, and imagine it's like a golden, silver, sparkly light going all the way up your nose, down the back of your throat, and settling in your heart like starlight. And it sits there and it shimmers and it just moves with a warmth and a beauty. And that is who you truly are. And now we're going to take that beautiful, sparkling, shimmering light, and we're going to now, like a big supernova starburst, send it out into the universe and connect with everyone here this evening and everyone who is absent, our absent friends as well, on all dimensions. And just feel that beautiful feeling of connection and just pure universal love, acceptance of all there is, and allowance of all there is in our lives with no judgment. Take a deep breath in and hold that beautiful space around your heart. And you can sit and hold that space for the whole of this podcast. I think that's what we call it, until the end. And then we will do a final one. Okay, so we're all in love at the moment and it feels good.
That is wonderful. Thank you very much, Jay. I can see that in that time we've got gonna have to put a user in timeout. It's we've already had someone trying to like sell some kind of, I don't know, wet girls advert. Oh, we're getting trolled, but that's okay. We've got a couple of comments here. So Jennifer is back. Glad to see you both. Hey, Jennifer, nice to be joined by you again. It's always lovely to have your company, because, you know, as Jay and I said the last time we met, you know, like the feeling at the end of that show was really amazing, wasn't it? And it really felt like,
it took me about 3 days to come down to earth. I was buzzing.
It really was like a co-creation, wasn't it? It really just felt so beautiful. Moaz is saying,
sorry, we had feedback as well, my end and your end, to say how much people had thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you for that. That really made me feel good. Thank you.
It's amazing, isn't it? Moaz was just saying that was so comforting. Thank you, Jay. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And we've got a comment from Jackie Grant saying, twice this week I've been Miss Crazy Woman. One day I feel in control, in charge, happy and excited in my life. Then the next day I can't concentrate on anything much.
Yeah.
Should we tune into that?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, let's tune into Jackie. And I don't know why I want to dance and go, I don't want to dance with your baby no more. Jackie Grant, Eddie Grant. There's something.
You had to be in England in the 80s to understand the reference, don't you? You have to.
In a way, but it was Eddie Grant. He was a brilliant, a bit like Bob Marley type person, you know, obviously for people who are a little bit younger than me. And he sang this song, I don't want to dance with my baby no more. And it feels like that for Jackie. It's like almost as if I want to say you've been putting your foot down like a toddler and going, I'm not going to do this. And then you go, and then the big you comes up and goes, don't be naughty, you can't say that. And you're going, yes can. And it's almost like arguing with yourself, because there's so many dimensional things going on at the moment with all of us. You know, 1 minute, like you say, we're crazy woman, and I've been the same, and absolutely totally in charge and totally compass mentis, and the next minute sobbing like a child and demanding sweets. You know, it's pretty much like that, really. And getting really irate and angry with silly neighbors who wanted me to chop the top off my tree and stuff like that, you know, and really going into the child in a big way, but really observing as well. So if you don't want to dance no more, then don't you dance, and then tomorrow dance like nobody's watching.
That's beautiful. Every time I keep like trying to tune in, I just keep remembering having a hug with her earlier this week when I saw her in a cafe. And I can't actually get that picture out of my head, actually. So I will come back to you in a second, you know, when I'm I almost need to kind of like blank my mind. If you remember, this is really for me to kind of be of service and also practice my skills whilst watching Jay do it, because she's awesome at it. We've got Expats Portugal. That's Carl, isn't it? The hearty hotties are in the house. How lovely is that? Thank you so much.
Oh, I've never been called a hottie in a while. Thank you, Carl.
Carl, if you're there, which I know you are, could you sort out the person that is like trolling the I think you've already done it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really annoying that we're getting trolled, but never mind.
It's fine. We must be popular.
So, I mean, in general, then about like what Jackie's saying about being like Miss Crazy Woman, feeling in control, happy and excited with life, and then the next day can't concentrate on anything too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that's something that most of us have been going through, right?
Definitely.
And what do you think's at the heart of that, Jay?
I think there's a lot of stuff. I mean, gosh, where do you even begin? There's so much going on in the world at the moment, for a start. There are so many different opinions. Everybody's got an opinion on something, and everybody's falling out in lumps over, you know, with people they don't even know on social media, because their opinions differ. And I get the feeling that we are the empaths and the people like us that are sensitive to it, picking up a lot of stuff that is not ours, and so we're having to deal with that. Do you know what I mean? So we're picking up stuff and we wake up feeling great, but then suddenly crazy woman comes in, and sometimes it can be just that you catch some of the news, even if you don't watch news like I don't, you catch a hint of the news, and it can send you crazy because it's the wrong moment and you've just heard something you didn't want to hear. You didn't invite it in, or you don't think you did, and suddenly you're off on this trajectory, and you have to keep constantly coming back to center and into the heart, you know. And I think it's because not only are there lots of CMEs and solar stuff going on off planet, I believe, as crazy as this sounds, that the galactics are trying to let us know that they're there. The ones of us that do chat with them and, you know, have a communication with them. And also people on other dimensions, people who have crossed over, they're all coming into the mix at the moment. And so we are now learning how to deal with that multi-dimensional energy, because that's what it is. And I think that's what's in the mix, to be honest. That's my take on it. What's yours?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, while you were saying that, I managed to disconnect from the idea of Jackie then. And then as I did, all of a sudden I realized I've got there's something I want to share. But Yeah, I really do think there's a lot going on. My sense is that there's this sort of excitable energy. And actually this is for Jackie as well. My take on this and the sort of instability. I think we're having mad rushes of love energy coming in. You know, like
Yeah,
those moments
yeah,
where we almost feel exalted for a moment, like this moment where everything clears and our
yeah,
heart really processes that sort of heart opening energy really, really clearly. And we have this moment of absolute feeling of connection, like that feeling like the innocence of grace, you know, like when babies are born, you know, that kind of perfect feeling. And then and then we don't keep that connection because we're not able to at the moment. I don't think our bodies can fully
yeah,
hold on
no.
to. I mean, there probably are people that can live in that state of grace, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
one of
we're
them.
having I
Yeah,
think we're having these moments of like grace, and in it, it's shifting our bodies. Like, for instance, I'm sure Mr. M won't mind me sharing this, and I'm sure you'll have experienced this, Jay. But you know, when you make love and you feel that real sense of connection, and everything is so clear and everything is so safe.
mm,
You can bet your bottom dollar, and I'll be interested to hear if it happens to you. But the next day, you have an almighty row, and everything kind of rolls downhill. You know what I'm talking about here. And my take on it is like as you kind of lift yourself up, it's like all the dirt and detritus that has been hanging
yeah,
around in your aura or in your relationship, it all
yeah,
kind of floats up. And then the next day, when you're not sort of connected, I mean, it
yeah,
happens because it's safe to go there. And then all
yes,
of a sudden, there's all this muck coming up because
yeah,
you put yourself in that moment of safety, but then you've
mm.
got to clear it off. And I think that's kind of what's going on right now.
I
Not
think
just
you're absolutely, yeah, yeah, I get that.
so we're having these great experiences,
Mm,
and then, like, you know, if we're unused to feeling that kind of shot of love, we
yeah.
don't know what to do with it, and our bodies don't know what to do with it.
I agree, and I think for me, I can relate to that on a slightly from a slightly different angle, not particularly from that one, you know, but the other one for me is when I connect with somebody, and the
Mm.
mother comes through, or the energy of source, or whatever. It's so pure, divine, and clear and clean, and I just am elevated beyond all whatever, and then literally, I'm just. It's like having a spiritual orgasm. It really is. It's not of the body, it's of everything, and it's so exquisite, and the feeling is just beautiful. It's pure love, and like you say, it's a similar thing when you make love, but this is like, and then you literally do come down. And Ben and I have talked about this before, our friend Ben, and
Mm.
said, you know, why is it that we get these euphoric moments and then the next day we feel like poop, you know? And it's because you have briefly touched who you truly are, but
Yeah.
we don't at the moment have the wherewithal to live at that level, as you quite rightly say. So,
Mm.
excuse me, we have to come back down to earth and ground, which is a good thing. And
Mm.
like I was talking to my daughter today, and she said, it's a bit like, you know, she said, you do the spiritual thing, and I'm much more pragmatic, but there's got to be a middle road. And I said, yeah, that there has. You know, for
Mm.
a lot of people live very much on the spiritual plane all the time, which is a bit too much, I think, for me. And some people are well grounded, which again, I can't live there either. I've got to find that middle. And that's what I call meeting heaven with earth. You know,
Yeah.
you're bringing the two into the heart. We're still learning to do all that stuff because it's new to us, you know? So I think a
I
lot of
love
people are going through this.
I love that, bringing heaven to earth. Whew. Well, I hope that was helpful, Jackie. I can see we've got something from Moaz here to have a look at. I'd like to know if I'll ever be able to overcome my fear of moving to Portugal because of my back issue. Oh, my fear of moving to Portugal because of my back issues, and be on my own dealing with it.
Mm,
Oh, the fear of moving to Portugal because of your back issues, but also your fear of moving to Portugal because that you'll be on your own with dealing with it.
dealing with it. Yeah. Yeah, we had this question before, didn't we? And it seems to be kind of something that is bothering you greatly.
Mm.
Um, I'm not sure at the moment. I mean, I feel that it's kind of, again, it's one of those where it needs a kind of personal tune in. It's quite a big question, and it's a very personal thing. So it kind of is something that although we're all here talking as honestly as we can, some
Mm.
things are very private, and this is my gut feeling. I don't know what you feel, Louisa, that it's something to do with something that's very, very deep and needs to be accessed a different way other than kind of on here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Want to
And absolutely, Moaz, if you wanted to reach out to Jay, I'm sure that's totally possible, isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
or you, whichever
oh,
feels
yeah.
you have to feel who feels right for you, basically,
Yeah.
and it,
When I read that question, instantly, um, I'm actually seeing that as a bit of a gift, Moaz. I know your back issues probably don't seem to be much of a gift, but it could very well be your body telling you that you're actually not ready to make the move, and that you've got excited to with the prospect of coming to Portugal, and you've invested in the dream of coming to Portugal in your head and your heart, but there's something in your body that's not quite in congruence with that at the moment. Aside from your back issues, I'm not saying that your back issues would disappear if you kind of become full and embodied in your desire to come to Portugal, but it just feels like it's a bit of a gift at the moment, in as much as it's like your body's giving you a bit of a warning sign,
mm,
aside from the fear. And it's not to say that Portugal's not the right place for you, but I think there is something deeper, actually, aside from your back issues,
mm,
that's going on. Although it feels like it's the back issues and the fear, like I have to close my eyes to do this. Although it feels like it's your fear of going to Portugal with your back issues and your fear of being alone with the back issues, I think it's not the back issues. I think it's your fear of being on your own. I hope you don't mind me saying that.
mm,
Um, because actually wherever we go, like we come in on our own, and like at some level we leave on our own. Like, this is it. We're all on our individual journeys, and it's scary, and it's a huge leap to go to another country, massive leap.
it is.
And we look for structures, and I think there's something, and so, yeah, Jay was probably right saying, we should probably have this off air. So sorry if I'm not trying to trample in and say don't come to Portugal, because I'm really not saying that. I think there is a fear beyond, like, I think it's easy to hang it all on your back issues,
Mm,
because they are a big part of your life, and
yeah,
actually something
yeah,
beyond that. And actually, if you could get beyond that, it might help your back issues. But
mm,
what I actually see coming up is, as you realize what, and it might not be a huge thing. It might just be like a memory of, and being on your own, and being lost. It could be anything. But my sense is, once that's been satisfied or explored somehow, all of a sudden that fear is going to dissipate. It's going to change. So
mm.
you might still have it, but it won't stop you from wanting to come to Portugal. It just feels like the moment that clears, Portugal is almost like a dead cert. Does that make sense?
It
I
makes
hope that's
sense to me, Louisa, perfectly, and my heart's kind of going there, and I'm feeling it as well. And it's like sometimes you're right. We can have this dream, and we can feel. I remember a time, just personally, when I had this thing, and I'd always wanted to go to Hawaii, and I used to dream about it when I was a little girl, and I dreamed it so well that I ended up there one day. And I was just going to say to Moaz, your back issues are about looking back and turning
mm,
back and looking back and keeping back, and it feels like your back is holding you back, but it isn't your back. And that's why we need to go into why the fear is there, but also why you feel you need to move forward to that place when it's such a big gap, it's such a big leap. And then it came into my mind what Esther and Abraham used to say many years ago was, if you can't go there physically, go there in your mind.
yeah.
First of all, start going in your mind. Imagine yourself in Portugal visiting. Imagine you walking around the plaza or the beach, or having a coffee on the promenade or whatever. Imagine exploring places on your own. Just go there in your mind, because you can. Your mind and your imagination can take you anywhere in the world. Mine did. It took me to Hawaii. I had to wait 40 years for it. But when I was a little girl, I used to play on this proggy mat, this old rug that my granny had made in an attic bedroom with no carpet. Didn't have much. Violin. But
Oh.
my imagination was huge, and it was brilliant because it needed to be. And I used to dream that I was a mermaid in a lagoon, and I was swimming, and I was lost, and I was in that lagoon in that bedroom. Years later, I had the opportunity afforded me to actually go to Hawaii, and then further than that, to go to the South Pacific and live on an island for a month on a lagoon, exactly as I'd envisaged as a little girl when I was 5. So what I'm saying, Moaz, is your mind is more powerful than ever your body is, and you can envisage and visualize and go there in your mind so completely that when your body follows, you won't realize you're there. It'll feel so natural to you. And I'm wishing and praying that for you right now, lovely person, and I'm tingling, so I know that's going to happen for you. You don't need to do it this red hot minute, as Esther would say. You don't need to. Just dream it. Go there in your mind in such a big, big way that you feel you're there. Yeah?
That's really beautiful. Yeah. There's a couple of things I want to touch on that you mentioned there. You know, like what Esther Hicks was saying, you know, and back issues, and you know,
Yeah.
it's linking to your past and almost what you can't see about yourself. I went on I thought it was going to be a tour of Southeast Asia. Actually, it was me being in Bali for 9 months. And every time I went to book a ticket, you know, or to do anything to leave Bali, I fell. And I like fell on my knee so many times, tripped over, sprained my ankle. And it, you know, after about 4 or 5 times, I thought, oh my goodness, this happens every single time I take a step forward. And of course, that's all about the leg. And so I just thought, okay, I'm listening now. I need to stay. And then when it was time for me to leave, I was able to step off Bali, you know, without tripping and falling. But sometimes these delays also are quite beneficial, you know, in as much as, like, I mean, like what Jay's saying, like, we are master creators. Our minds are so much more incredible than our bodies are. And there is something going on. There is something being created in you at the moment that's just giving you a moment to pause and recreate possibly an even better possibility for you. One in which there is no fear.
Yeah.
And possibly one in which you're sat at a cafe having a coffee with me and Carl, like looking out at the ocean. Who knows?
I think you're right, Louise, completely. And I think it's all about that. It's about, you know, we can sometimes have a goal. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, you know, and I can't seem to get there. And it was like, right, you know, shoot for the moon and land among the stars, because the stars are a pretty damn nice place to be. And sometimes we can actually aim for something, and we fixate on the goal. It's like, oh, I want to go to Portugal. That's it. That's the only thing I'm looking at. But all this fear comes up because you're saying, I want to do this, but your higher self has even greater plans for you. Now, it could be Portugal, as Louisa says, but it could also be somewhere much more amazing where you actually meet the love of your life, for example. Or if you're already with the love of your life, you know, something else happens and you go together. There's billions of possibilities in this universe, and they're all there for you at the pace you can go. So you have to draw back into your heart and say, what do where am I really at right now? You can shelve Portugal. You know, it's actually allowed that you can do that. You can shelve a dream, and it will never go away from you if it's yours. It will always find you, but it will find you in the place where you are the most peaceful and at peace with yourself, so to speak. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I just keep wanting to say more. Like you say something and I'm like, oh God, that reminds me of. You know what? Me and Mr. Munson would not have met or married. Because we couldn't marry if we hadn't met. But we would never have met if we had stuck to our guns to what we were hoping for. So, like back in the days, you know, like when I was single, you know, I had this idea as to what my future man would look like. And I was in my mid-30s, and I'd set myself an age range, and it wasn't that adventurous, really. I think it was like 7 years older and so many younger, actually not younger, but like 7 years older. I also specified that I wanted somebody that hadn't been married before. So I'd uncrossed the divorced thing, and I'd unticked has children and ticked wants children. So I was being really, really specific about who I thought was right for me. And I also even specified the area, like they needed to be within 100 miles. The funny thing is, Carl was, not far away. Well, I mean, far enough away, but he was also on the same dating website as me. I was in his age range, and although he wasn't in mine, but he had said he was looking for somebody who was divorced and who had kids and who didn't want kids. So we were kind of looking for the opposite of what we were both saying. And it wasn't until I just said to myself, okay, look, I'm putting this in the universe's hands. Like, connect me with the right person. Like, we honestly think we know what's best for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that we have sovereignty and like we have an idea as to what's best for us. But I always think we should be, since meeting Carl, I recognize that there was an intelligent design behind it all that actually had a better plan for me than I could have even realized. And Carl, obviously, he had no plan to have any more children at all until he met me. And so like neither of us saw that happening, that sort of like unique coupling. But once we both kind of let go of what we were looking for, it was crazy. Like none of the things that were holding us up, like not meeting, actually mattered when we really met. Because when that moment happens and you are back on your course according to what like the creator or the design, like the intelligent design wants, whatever's best for you, all of a sudden it flows. So maybe just imagine the feeling of being happy and at home in your body, and a feeling that everything feels great. And then, who knows, maybe the right country will pop up, and it might be Portugal.
Yeah.
But I think you let go of Portugal, almost let go of it, allow something to come in.
Yeah, it's a great thing to let go. And I was talking to somebody else this week, and it might have been on Facebook, and I think I mentioned it to you, Louisa, and somebody had been going on about following the heart, and lots of people were saying, oh, you got to follow your heart, and I'm a great believer in that. And the heart is the new mind. The heart is actually, it has neurons and all the things that the brain has, but it's much more intelligent because it's got the emotions with it. Just my opinion, but it's the opinion of quite a few people nowadays. And my mum used to say to me, oh, your trouble. It was always my trouble. It wasn't, what was wrong with you?
You let your heart.
Yeah, you let your heart rule your head. And I used to go, oh God, oh, that's awful. That's a terrible thing. But I couldn't stop it because that was so strong. And every single time, but your heart is the thing that's connected to the inner being, which is connected to your source, which is your guidance, higher self. Everything good about everything is where your heart is. And it is your sat nav. It is your inner sat nav, And as soon as the mind comes in and goes, oh, well, I don't know about that. The mind is almost like that. The aunt who is a little bit, oh, well, I don't know about that. When I was young. And it's the kind of cautious side of it, which is not too bad. It's not so bad. But, when you really listen to your heart and when you live in the heart fully every day of your life, which we've come to now over the years, nothing else makes sense but what your heart's telling you. And when you do that, everything falls into place. And that's how you know your heart, and you're following your heart, sat nav, and not your sat nag.
I love that. Your sat nag. I love that.
That's how I see it. It's quite simple, really, but mind of a child.
No, it's really beautiful. I'm just having a look. So we've got some hellos and stuff. And Moaz is saying, I apologize for keep bringing up this issue. You know what? That's what we're here for. And sometimes we do need to explore things like more than just once. And in the space of 2 weeks, different things happen. I always find like it's almost like I'm going around in a circle, round and round and round. And sometimes I might be kind of going up a little bit in the circle or down a little bit in the circle. I always seem to be coming round and learning the same lessons again in different ways. And sometimes we need to hear things in different ways.
Yeah, we do. It's great to keep asking. I mean, God, I do it myself. It's like, oh, not that old chestnut again. I'll do it to myself, and I think, oh, am I back on that one? And it's because I need to explore a few more rooms that have appeared in that particular apartment. It's a bit like going around a house and you discover another room. You go, oh my God, I need to go in there and have a look at that because that might be the answer in there. You have to do it. And it helps other people. And what it does as well is it helps everyone to go deeper, and it helps everyone to explore and expand more of who they are. And then, of course, every week we've got new people coming in and they haven't heard it. It's all good. Good person. Stop beating yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it really is all good to ask. And one thing that I'm really conscious of is the fact that we've got quite a few people listening and not asking questions. And I think it's a little bit like Abraham, like when you're listening to Abraham, I think whatever comes up is usually the message that everybody needs to hear anyway. So Jackie is saying exactly that, a moment of pure love. Thanks, Jay and Louisa. So that's great. And Moaz has just got back to us. Yes, you're both right. I've been so possessed with the idea of moving to Portugal for a long time, and I need to let go of it and follow my heart. Your heart may well lead you back to Portugal. It might. It might just be that you need to kind of let go of it so that your heart brings you back. Because like right now, it almost feels like your mind has led you there, but it's your heart that needs to be led there. And I know you're part of Carl's community. And so it's very, very easy to feel that sense of, oh, I must be there. There's all these people I hang out with. I must be there. But it has to be like, let your heart get you there. Thank you, Moaz.
You know what? If that was the case, we'd all be moving over there tomorrow to be with you guys. We would all over here because we all want to be with you and Carl. But that is not my path right this week.
Not yet. One day, maybe.
Thing. There is value in letting go. I mean, it's a very scary thing because we've been, most of us were raised to like hang on to things, and there's no more where that came from. And, if you don't look after that, you won't get another one. And that's not true. That is not the truth. The universe is full of things. It's abundant with a billion, trillion, zillion Google things, and they're always there for you when you're ready. What the mind will do is try and push you into a little slot so that it knows where you are. But your heart will go, no, that doesn't feel quite right. If it feels even slightly off, it's not right for you. And you have all the time in the whole universe, because there is no time, in which to achieve whatever goal you wish to achieve. And just know that, Moaz, you've got all the time that ever there was. And this is not just the only lifetime. You may reincarnate when you pass on into Portugal, and then you'd be sick of it and you want to go to England or something.
That's great advice.
The letting go thing as well. I was just going to add this little bit was I had to do it myself. Always have to walk our talk, don't we? We can't just talk about it. And I had a situation, and I had a wonderful experience with a dear friend I was talking to about, Louisa, and this lady who doesn't want to do it publicly yet, but she does like language, and she is absolutely off the scale brilliant at it. And it literally changed something in me that I'd been holding on to for lifetimes. And in this lifetime, it was phenomenal. And it enabled me to let go of a someone and a something in this lifetime, which had been a real bone of contention, a real emotional heartbreak type tug. God, when am I going to be free of this? I just want to be at peace. And literally, after I'd had this session with this friend for 10 minutes, 5 minutes later, the person connected with the person. I can't go into it because it was person, but this person contacted me on email, and I could not believe it. And twice since has done so. And then something else. And I'd let go. I'd completely let go of a very, very personal, emotional situation, and thought, right, I can't do anymore. I've got to just let go. And suddenly this person's back, and it's like, oh my God. And it was perfect, beautiful. So letting go is the best thing we can do, because we're like boomerangs. If we're meant to come back, we do. If we don't, somebody else will find us. You can't lose.
I'm sniggering here, not because like I think, oh, what a funny situation, but I'm seeing some of the other messages coming in, and also thinking about Moaz and like letting go of you know, what's been going on. I think tonight is our letting go show.
You too.
And
Yeah.
and Carl and I have definitely been letting go of you know, certain things that come up and are shocking, and then like when it happens, you're just like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of go, oh, okay,
It does.
right. I've got a long question that's come in 4 partitions, and it's absolutely okay because we like to get to the bottom of these things. So, and I'm really pleased that Jennifer has, you know, open-heartedly, you know, shared her question. I was dating a man for 5 months, and it ended a few weeks ago because he needed to do some personal work before getting into a relationship. He says he sees us as friends, and I'm happy for him to do what he needs to. I'm doing my own work, yet I can't shake this feeling that we're meant to be more. It's not a silly love kind of feeling, it's deeper. Just before this, I had a sign that brought this feeling up again. Not sure what I should do. I've let go. But why does this keep coming up for me? Why do odd signs keep coming up if it's not meant to be more than friends? And then, sorry, that was long. Louisa knows I'm long-winded. It's absolutely fine. How long is a piece of string? It's completely fine.
How long? Absolutely. Well,
And the reason, before Jay, I can see Jay's got something big about to emerge, and I absolutely love and trust Jay's advice here, but I really want to like go back to the letting go. I know you said you've let go, Jennifer, and I think there's more letting go to do. Like really fully let go in such a way that you have never let go before, to the point where you say, you know what, I loved being with you, and yes, I would absolutely love to have a relationship with you. However, it's not working with me that you can't actually 100% know that I am the one for you. And because of that, and because I absolutely am committed to being with someone that absolutely just 100% wants to be with me, you're not for me right now. And boom, let him go. It's like you either you either meet me in this place right now, or you must go, because you're not like right for me. And so that's the kind of letting go I think that needs to happen, because I think the letting go that may have happened so far feels like letting go, but it's let go with some sadness and some regret. And I think while you've got that regret, you're pulling it back. You know, like that feeling that
I could not agree more, because I kind of felt the same thing, and I had a very similar situation with someone this week in you know, that I know. But I've let go. And I said, if you'd let go, this person wouldn't still be around, and they really aren't available for you. Yeah, but I love them, and blah, blah, a very similar situation. And then this person was saying, oh, but you know, it's okay with me. And I said, is it really? Are you sure about that? And I want to say, Jennifer, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you have the Force with you. Use it.
That's beautiful.
And
love that.
use the Force, because I'm tingling all over now. It's like you have the power, and you're not taking your power right now. You're kind of coercing, and well, it's okay. But to me, to be honest, and if this sounds blunt, I do apologize. It's coming out really strongly at the moment. It's like, you're the most gorgeous woman. And I feel, as soon as I saw your question, I thought, his loss. He might be a gorgeous man, and he might need to do work on himself, and good on him for saying so. But in my experience, that's sometimes a bit of an excuse for, I'm frightened to commit, or I'm not quite ready for this, or I want you in my life, but I don't want to let go of you. So there's a double vibration going on. You kind of don't want to let go, and he doesn't kind of want to let go, but you've kind of let go, but you haven't let go. Neither of you have. So when you let go and go, no, I'm done with this. I need a man that's going to be with me. I'm ready to commit to you. If you're not, that's absolutely fine. I need to let you go. I'm not okay with it, by the way, but I need to let you go. So bye. The minute you do that, your vibration changes. And whoever it is either goes, oh my God, I can't let her go. Oh gosh, she's too good. Or, oh God, thank God this is where I really need to be, but I daren't say. So you can't lose, Jennifer. You are Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you do have the Force with you. And you are a powerful woman that one man out there is going to be so grateful to have you. You will be in no doubt whatsoever as to the fact that he wants to be with you, take care of you, and love you right to your toenails, your little pretty pink toenails. And I am tingling like you would not believe. So let him go, because he isn't there. And if he was there, he would be there with you right this second. He might be lovely, but you know what? He's Mr. Right, or Mr. Right now. So
I love that. I really, really love that. As you were saying that, something else occurred to me, and that was when you don't let go, like when you really, really don't let go, because like you're a nice person. I think this is something women do a lot, because we're such nice people and we want to heal all the people that we're with, don't we? We want to love them. We want our love to be so healing that it almost corrects things for them. But while he's still connected to you, or senses your connection and interest in him, he doesn't have to fully heal. He doesn't have to fully heal enough to be worthy of being with you. Once that connection is really kind of, once that, like, psychically you think, oh, he's not showing up enough, therefore I can't hold out for him, and that's fine, go your merry way. Once that sense of release is done, something will signal in him, if you're the one for him, something will signal for him that he needs to do that work, and he will do it. Because when I honestly think when a man really, really wants, like, they will move heaven and earth, won't they?
They absolutely will. Yeah, that happened to me. I can honestly say so. That happened to me. I was coming out of, I'd been divorced, married, divorced, blah, 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 blah. And it's a bit like Henry VIII, married, beheaded, divorced, survived, blah, blah, blah. I felt like that. And then just at the point where I was leaving a long relationship that was going nowhere, and I finally found the courage to leave it, Mr. Kim popped up, didn't he? And it's like, and the day that he came to me, I was the most shocked I've ever been in my life. And it's not much that renders me speechless, but his words to me, and he's very shy. He's a very, shy kind of person. But on that day, he had seen me in the wings, in the shadows, and been waiting for his chance. And he came into my office at work and he said, I have something to ask you or tell you. And I can't remember now, but I was like, oh yes, did you want me to do some typing? And he said, no, I've heard that you're leaving, because I was going to leave, and go somewhere else. And the relationship was over, job was over, the lot. And he said, I can't let you go. And I looked at him, I was like, pardon? And he said, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And I would follow you to the ends of the earth. And I just need you to know that. And then he left. And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? I don't even know you. I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware of him, really, And from that point, 3 months, I think it was, later, we were married. And that was 16 years ago. And he came for me. And that I have this thing. I have this kind of sense that somewhere in fantasy world, dream world, real world, in my world, cuckoo land, there is a blueprint that the man comes to find you. And I know that sounds a bit sexist, but I always feel a man or a male energy, the divine male energy, will find you. And if you have to go chasing him, there's something kind of off about that for me personally. That may not work for everyone. Sometimes you have to make that, you have to let it be known that you can't. But I didn't do anything. I swear to God, I just sat typing, totally blissfully unaware of Mr. Atkinson, because he worked at the same place as me. And then there he was, declaring undying love, and I'll follow you to the ends of the earth. And then 3 months later, we're married. I couldn't believe it, because I was never having another relationship ever, So these things happen, and there is magic out there, and it's in our hearts, and sometimes you have to declare that you're actually letting go of everything. Because I was like, right, that's it. No more men, no more relationships. Don't want to do this. Don't want to do this job anymore. I'm just going to do such and such. And I was terrified. Didn't know what I was going to do. But out of the blue, then this lovely man comes in and goes, here's my shining knight in white whatever horse thing. And off we went into the sunset, and here we are.
That is beautiful. I love that. We've got a couple of comments here. First of all, Jennifer is saying thank you.
Aw,
And Jay,
darling.
that's such a sweet love story you have, and really,
Aw.
truly it is. Carl downstairs is saying, fellas, step up. Ladies, challenge him. If he's right, he'll make it work. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Thank you.
Carl's a romantic. You know, he knows what he's talking about. I really do believe that. He's also saying, "Yay, Jay!" And Jackie Grant, who's listening in, has said, "My husband found me. I really wasn't ready for any relationship." You know,
Oh, wow.
they kind of make the decision for you, and that's kind of when you know that they're for you know, when they're there for you.
I totally agree with me. And the other thing he said to me, which was a weird thing for somebody to say, and do you know what? He didn't know this, but I really needed to hear this because of past and stuff. And he said, I need you to know as well before I go that I've never been unfaithful to anyone in my life. It
Oh
just is.
wow!
And he said, I never would be to you either. And I'll just leave you with that. And I was like, what just happened? And he is like that. He's just very, very, he's my back against the wall. He's my safety pin in my nappy. He's all the good things in life. And yes, we do have our arguments and rows as well, you know. Well, I do. He just listens. But you know, we do have our moments, and we've had some very, very difficult times too, but we've got through them. And that's something I never did with another partner. It was like I was always trying to prove myself, or jump through hoops, or jump up to the, you know, and step up to the plate, and always found wanting, you know. So this time I was determined that I wasn't going to give anything, and I didn't have to, because he had more than enough for both of us for quite some time. God love him. So it's out
Bless
there.
him.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, Jennifer, thank you for sharing so openly, and Jay, you know, like, thank you for like speaking from the heart so much, because I think that's really what we all need to hear, really, isn't it? You know that.
We all need to hear it, and we all need to do it with each other. You know, it's like, what have you got to lose by speaking from your heart? Some people are so terrified of going to that place because it's like, oh yeah, but if I do that, people will stomp on it. Well, they can't kill love. You can't kill love. And if
Yeah.
you're determined to just be love and be more love every day,
Mm.
everything you do with love, nothing can destroy that. And you just get stronger. You really, truly do, you know.
Definitely.
Mm.
I've got a question that came into me earlier today via email. It's Brenda. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory, and I'm kind of ad-libbing the question a little bit because I don't want to flick through. I haven't actually got it live on my screen, but I know enough about it. So Brenda is somebody who's got boundary issues at the moment, finds herself in a small place, like physically in a small place, living with somebody, and really wants to have a relationship with somebody, like really wants to be with Mr. Right, and to have somebody show up, but is also somebody who really loves to be alone, and currently isn't getting much alone time in their very small flat, and is
Yeah.
feeling just a little bit kind of out of sorts. So I was just wondering if you could tune in to Brenda for me,
Mm.
please. You know, like,
Yeah.
what might be the first step for Brenda to take?
Gosh, that's difficult. I mean, I don't know how small the space is, but that is very difficult because you see, Kim and I are very similar in that respect. And my sister's very much like it, and she and her
Yeah.
husband are at home a lot together, and I'm, you know, with my husband. He's out quite a bit more, but I think we all need our space, and the more that we're expanding nowadays, the more we're growing. It's not like our grannies and mums and everybody, and we're, oh, you know, got to cook for 27 children and a husband. We've got our space to do things, and we need to take that space. So my first step would be to say to yourself, right, what is it I need to do for me? And take that space for you, even if it's to say to whoever else is in the house, I need a half an hour on my own. I'm going to meditate. Please don't disturb me. Do not make a noise. You know, you can say that in your own house and take your space. First of all, you've got to stake your claim. It's what the old prospectors did. You know, they staked their claim. And it's like, no, And then you imagine that you have this beautiful circle of light around you. And even if you're not going to meditate, just go into a room and sit there for half an hour and let it be known that that is your time. And then you can increase that. And then from there, you'll get more ideas of how you can increase and, make your boundaries fit you rather than everybody piling in over them, sort of thing. Does that make sense?
That makes beautiful sense to me. I love that. What about like the issue of like when you really want to be alone and really like being alone, but you also want to find somebody to spend your life with? It's almost like you want to find someone to spend your life with who isn't going to be too much of a bother. Somebody who, like people who like a lot of small talk. You might want to meet someone that's very kind of stoic. And just kind of like a solid person that's like,
well,
right
now you're talking about Kim and I. That's our relationship, because I'm the mouthpiece and he's the quiet one. But I get everything I need from this relationship, and he says he does, and I've got his word for that. I know, but it feels like it works. It works beautifully, and it took a long time to get here, and a lot of things had to be, I had to keep reviewing my boundaries with other people and with myself, and eventually, somehow, you see, it's all about vibration again, isn't it? When you expect the best of yourself and only accept the best for yourself, the best will come to you, whether it's in a current relationship or one that's yet to come to you. But it is there, because mine was, and it is. And I mean that without any, I'm not being funny here. I'm just trying to say it is possible, because I've got it. I need a lot of space. I need a lot of time, and he's really patient, but he's very grounding as well. And so when I've flown off and I've gone too far and I go, he's there. Come on, I'll make you a cup of tea. What's up now? But he'll listen to me, and he's never yet said to me, "Oh, that's rubbish. You can't think that. You can't feel that. That's totally." He's just accepting of, that's really good. Is it making you happy? And that seems to be the thing. And excuse me, I think when we're in a relationship, if we can get to a point where we do genuinely want the other person to be as happy as we can be, it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, does it? Because we met, and yes, we married quickly, and we're still here. But we've gone through a lot in that time to kind of mold the relationship into us both being comfortable in the same space or in not the same space, because we just kind of know we're there, whether he's here or not, or I am. And it's a bit like that. So it's not an easy one to answer, but it is entirely possible that you can have it, without a doubt.
And what I really heard there, Jay, was that you need to show up for yourself first.
Definitely, you do. You have to kind of have a look in your heart, and you have to kind of write your little list out in your heart. You don't have to even write it out, but make a list in your heart that what am I likely to want? What do I want? I don't really know. And for me, it was just, I needed a peaceful relationship. I needed somebody that was going to be there for me. I needed somewhere where I could explore more of me. I could explore what was in my heart and on my journey, without somebody nitpicking or grabbing at my time or demanding that well, you go in there, you shouldn't be. I'm jealous. None of that happened at all. But again, that took quite a while getting there, but we are there, and it is really beautiful. It's lovely. It's not, we're not swinging from the rafters. It's not that kind of relationship. It's so much more than that. It's beautiful, and he's a kind man. He's very kind. And I really cherish that, because I hadn't known a lot of kindness in my life. So that was one of my criteria. It has to be somebody that's kind, if nothing else. I would have settled for just that.
Kindness goes such a long way. It really, really does. We've got a couple of comments. I think that's going to be very helpful for Brenda. So thank you very, very much for that. Carl is saying, yes, Jennifer, you are beautiful and love will find you. There you go. And Jackie's saying, working on getting the balance right. My husband and I are like cheese and chalk, but we have a connection. Mutual respect for each other's space for us is really, really important.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
And you know what? That I was going to say, sometimes Kim and I, we get on like a house on fire, and yet we are chalk and cheese. When I actually look at the logistics, if you put it on paper, we are so different. I love people. He doesn't, for one. And yeah, but that can actually make a relationship even more exciting if you work together.
Definitely. Excellent. Well, I think we should be, we've just hit the hour mark, so it's time for us to bring this to a close. If you found this useful, please do think about like subscribing, like hit the notification bell. So next time, you know that this is coming up, and that makes it all that much more smooth. Also, if you want to work directly with Jay or with me, feel free to contact us. You can see our addresses below, and all of our other details are going to be in the show notes just underneath. And I would just really reiterate the idea that if you haven't asked a question, feel free to come and ask a question another time. We really are here for you. And I really do feel that whatever question comes up, it's meant for everyone. There's something in every message for every one of us. I mean, I remember when Carl and I used to do an astrology show, there would always be something uniting every one of the birth charts I had to look at. There'll always be some kind of unified theme. And today it definitely feels like kind of letting go to allow the real good stuff to come in.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And thank you for everyone, because everybody's questions as well are, you're me, I'm you, we're all each other. There is no separation, because when we're all in the heart, we're in that place together. And so everything about everybody helps somebody. It really, really does. Even the bad stuff, what you consider bad stuff, it really does. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really are on this journey together, aren't we? One last comment then. Jackie Grant is saying, Jay, yeah, kindness. I also didn't have a lot of kindness in my life, and my husband is super kind, and that's beautiful. Boaz has just managed to get an extra comment in, because I was just saying last one, and this is where people really do pile in, isn't it? Right at the end. Boaz is saying, Louisa and Jay, you always help so many people. Thank you so very much.
Oh, it's
lovely.
Thank you. That means such a lot. It really does, honestly. So do we want to close this with a little something?
I think so. Would you like to close again?
If that's all right with you.
I like it. I really appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So in the spirit of this evening, and the fact that we've all been together from all corners of the world and everything, we're all on this beautiful planet together, whether it's flat, round, square, or whatever, who cares? We're in it together, and I think in the spirit of that, let's just gently close our eyes and just breathe into the heart again, and go into that lovely diamond stardust place that we created at the beginning, and just feel the warmth of it, and just feel each other. I don't know how many of you are out there, but you're all in my heart right now. And I feel such love for everybody there, because I feel love for me on my journey. And I sometimes feel like I can hold myself and rock myself and say, there, it's okay. And so I can do that for me, so I can do that for you. And we can all do it for each other. So in the spirit of that, let's all just jump into that beautiful space in the heart, and imagine we're jumping into this diamond crystal pool of light and pure love. And let's just dip down into it, breathe it in, and come up covered in this diamond energy like starlight, each one of us. And then we're going to shoot off like shooting stars back to our own corners, where we were going to shine and twinkle all the time until we meet again. I love you all, and thank you.
Oh, that was a showstopper. I love you too, Jay. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm feeling really shiny now. Jennifer saying, ditto to that. Moaz, you are both so wonderful. So thank you very much. Oh, and Fiona and Simon are also, kind of.
Wow. Bless you.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Oh, lovely. All right then. Well, we'll look for another fortnight then.
Yeah, we'll see you in a fortnight. Come back, join us again soon. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you to everyone that's been listening today. We love you very, very much. We will connect again real soon. Just, in the next 2 weeks, notice the patterns of the thinking that you're coming up against in your personal lives, in your own kind of body. Notice the themes of what's going on that you see in media, and kind of like, are there any connections between those? Bring them with you. You know, if you haven't got a question, bring them up, because it will be something for us all to explore together anyway. So much love to you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon. So one last wave.
Bye.